On tonight's Cobb Prep Rally, put your hands together as we kick off the second week of our show. We'll talk to the McEachern Indians about this weekend's game in the Georgia Dome. The Indians feel confident they can beat Warner Robins, and see if you can guess the identity of our mystery trivia guest. Come with us as we preview teams in Region 6A and Region 5 South. Don't knock yourself out, just kick back and get ready for the fastest 30 minutes in television.
Glad to have you back with us, Cobb County. I'm Scott Kozlowski.
And I'm Ann Kokanya. Now, before we get underway, we want to thank all of the viewers that called us about last week's show. Please, please, always let us know how we're doing and spread the word about Cobb Prep Rally.
Exactly. Now, the big news this week is McEachern's return to the annual Dome game. Now, we got a chance to sit down and talk to Coach Dorsey and a couple of the Indians, so we'll have that for you in a second.
And also, we're going to take a look at the teams that we missed last week. We're going to preview Region 5 South and also take a look at Region 6A.
So let's get to it, starting with Region 5 South and the Eagles from South Cobb.
This sprained left knee belongs to senior offensive tackle Frank LaCour. The doc said it would be 1 to 3 weeks. Frank is hoping for 1. But the rest of the South Cobb Eagles are on their feet and ready for the season to begin. Coach Billy Peak has plenty of returning starters. The Eagles only had 5 seniors last year. Taking a look at the offense, senior quarterback Trey Donaldson provides leadership for the Eagles. He and wide receiver Don Ellis make a very nice touchdown team. You can find another offensive standout in tackle Zach Reed. The defense is sizing up nicely with linebacker Brad Whited and defensive tackle Franco Mills. Even the fans watching practice know it's going to be a good year. The Eagles open up the season against Harrison September 2nd. Moving to the east, we stop at Campbell High School to visit Coach Alan Nicely and his Spartans. The Spartans had a 1-9 season last year, but this time around, they'll have experience on their side with 18 out of 22 starters returning.
We really have a veteran team coming back. A lot of starting players coming back. Plan to be good. A lot of talent on the team this year, better than last year.
On defense, all-county linebacker Eric Harmon, defensive end Matt Metz, defensive tackle Peter Horton, and defensive end, sometimes quarterback, Michael McKay. On offense, junior quarterback Chris Howard, running back Gary Hart, and junior wide receiver Tremaine Gay. The Spartans begin their season on the turf of the Walton Raiders. We fly over to the nest of the Osborne Cardinals. The Cardinals advanced to the region playoffs last year for the first time in the history of the school. A repeat looks promising as Coach Powell welcomes back 27 seniors, most of them on the offense. You're looking at the starting offensive line. Sophomore Adam Morgan will be the new center after losing Andrew Dressler to graduation. 3-year starting QB Hakeem Batiste returns to the nest along with fullback Adrian Abernathy and wide receiver Rob Tate.
We should be pretty good, and we got a lot of seniors coming back and starting. Just see how the players come up can help us, and we should be pretty good and make the playoffs and go deeper in the playoffs this year.
On the Cardinal defense, look out for tackle Naeem Jihad and his defensive buddies Anthony Murray and Leon Foster. These Cardinals are seeing red. Watch out, Cass High School. You're first on the list. One of Osborne's other big rivals, Pebblebrook, has been busy planning their attack. The Falcons needed a kicker in a big way, so they borrowed Jason Phillips from the soccer team. The Falcons hope to at least repeat last year's 5-5 record, and they think they have the goods to do it.
Well, this year we have a lot of people returning on defense, but our offensive line is good because we have a lot of returning people that has played there for 4 years, but we're pretty weak in the backfield. We need some strong runners because we're young in the backfield, but overall we're pretty decent.
Keep your eyes on QB Fonz Cater, defensive end Sean Turner, and appropriately named lineman Edward Thrash. The Falcons will spread their wings September 2nd at Stone Mountain.
Well, best of luck to all the teams in Region 5 South. Now, every year, several teams get honored with an invitation to play their season opener in the Georgia Dome. Once again, McEachern High will be there, this time playing Warner Robins. And we talked to the Indians to find out how they're approaching their big night.
If the first game weren't scheduled for 3 p.m., you might call it the night of nights for Georgia high school football. Crowds well over 10,000 strong will jam the Georgia Dome for the third year to welcome in another season of thrashing and bashing. And for the third year, Cobb County will be there too. The McEachern Indians have made reservations this Saturday against Warner Robins for their annual coming out party.
Well, you know, for all these kids to have an opportunity to play in the Georgia Dome is a very great opportunity for them. Very few kids in high school ever get a chance to play in a facility like that. That's probably one of the top 2 or 3 football facilities in the world.
After 2 previous appearances, the elder Indians have gotten over the goosebumps, but the thrill hasn't left either.
There's a lot more excitement, you know when you walk out from under the tunnel and everybody looking at you. Yeah. It's a good experience.
Well, last year I was pretty nervous when I first walked out on the turf when we started doing our drills, but after that, after the first play, it was all right. Settled down, and it's just like playing a regular football game once you get used to the dome and the crowd and everything.
McEachern hopes to improve its dome-coming record to 2-1. The Indians beat Brookwood in 1992 21-14, but lost a close one to a strong Noonan squad last season 19-17. This year's matchup won't be a gimme either. Warner Robins reached the Quad A semifinals last year before losing to South Gwinnett. Both McEachern and Warner Robins lost a lot of talent to graduation.
You know, Warner Robins, like us, lost a lot of their skill players, and usually that dictates a lot about what you're going to do on offense especially. So we're a little bit in the dark about what they're going to do, and they're probably a little bit in the dark about what we're going to do because we've lost a lot of players back there also.
Tickets are $10 and are available at McEachern High School and at the gate. And be sure to grab a seat on the bus leaving McEachern at 1 p.m. It's a great event and showcases some of the state's best talent. And look for complete highlights and coverage on next week's Cobb Prep Rally.
There's still a little bit of magic in walking out in that kind of surroundings, and you know, knowing that you're just one of very few teams that's going to get an opportunity to play in there, that part of it is still very real and exciting.
Well, I hope the Indians can send the Devils back to where they belong. And speaking of being back, I bet you can just hear that homeroom bell ringing now. That's right, the summer months have come and gone, and we wanted to find out what you did on your summer vacation.
Now that summer vacation is almost officially over, we did some traveling around the county to find out how you spent your summer. What we found out is that working out was a pretty popular pastime.
We pretty much had football workouts all summer long. It pretty much kept us busy.
Worked out, ran track in the weight room.
I worked.
Where?
Right here.
Worked out in the weight room and went to the passing league. Had a pretty full summer.
Came here, worked out. That's about it.
Came up here and worked out for football. Try to get better.
These tough guys weren't the only ones who worked out. Members of the Flight Corps were busy preparing for their own season, although they did manage to have some fun.
I went to Jamaica and Panama City and St. George Island and practiced long and hard.
And I went on a trip and I met 46 guys, and that was fun.
I put my foot in it practice. And I've worked. That's about it.
This summer I went to Wisconsin and to our cottage, and I spent a lot of time at camp, and I went to Whitewater.
Sounds like you worked out, went to camp, and did some vacationing. What did the rest of you do?
I didn't do anything this summer. A jellyfish attacked me. I almost ate my whole family.
We went to Stone Mountain, we saw some movies this year.
Okay, I went to the Bahamas for about 2 weeks, and I went to Myrtle Beach for about a week. And got to take my sister down to Florida State this Saturday. So I'm just about traveling all summer, having fun, working out for football and everything else. That's about it.
Summer?
Yeah.
Same old, same old.
Yeah? What's that?
Same old. I don't know. I did the same thing last summer. Did it this summer.
I just went out, climbed a mountain, fell down a mountain. Had a good time though.
We're glad you enjoyed your summer, and good luck as you start the school year.
Well, we spent our summer working on this wonderful show.
So don't let our summer go to waste. Hang around and find out what we've got for you coming up next. Khalif Stamps gives his 29 cents worth about being the Scholar Athlete of the Week, and Bob Giles continues his predictions about Cobb County football. We'll be right back.
Purchasing jewelry should not be scary. It should be enjoyable and comfortable. We have a small town attitude in that our customers are our friends. We manufacture jewelry. We have extensive knowledge on diamonds and colored stones. And we feel that this better enables us to help serve your needs in finding out exactly what you want. Fine quality in jewelry should last you a lifetime, and it's something that you'll always be proud of.
Serving East Cobb since 1979, Edward John's Jewelers.
So how long have you been working here?
About 3 weeks now.
You do nice work.
Thank you. So do you.
It's not easy, you know.
I know.
Everything here has to be so perfect.
Keep up the good work.
At Papa John's,
Thank you.
our mission is to deliver the perfect pizza.
Did you know $6.5 billion of financial aid goes unclaimed every year? Well, I've got great news. I'm Rob Kalpak, and my company can provide you with a personalized computer report guaranteeing at least 10 sources you can contact for college financial aid. Well, let me show you how. You fill out the application. We'll save you hours of legwork through our constantly updated database. We'll show you how to get results. Let us help you find money for college.
Call Cash for College to get at least 10 guaranteed sources of financial aid for only $49.
Campbell High School football players give a big round of applause to their teammate Khalif Stamps. He's our Scholar Athlete of the Week. Khalif maintains a 3.3 GPA, works at Chick-fil-A, and plays wide receiver for the Spartans. But Khalif thinks the classroom is where it's at.
In athletics, anything can happen. You break your neck, break a leg, anything, you'll be out of athletics for life. And unless you have that educational background to, step back on, you'll be up the creek.
He does love to play football, and his fellow teammates give Khalif their stamp of approval.
He's pretty good. He's a hard worker, good leader, and whatever we do, he's pretty much in front of everything,
Khalif enjoys athletics, but in the end, there's another motivation for playing the game.
All I want pretty much out of football is just a free education. I'll be happy.
Hey Cobb County, I'm Megan Smith and I'm back to take you over to Walton High School where we're going to preview their first ever fast pitch softball team. The Walton Raiders are digging in and warming up for the 1994 season. The name of the game for Walton High softball this year is fast pitch. The Raiders have made the transition from slow to fast pitch, and Coach Dennis Jordan is gearing the team up for a new and challenging season.
This is our first year fast pitch. Walton, in the past, softball-wise, has not been an exceptional softball program. We're looking forward to the challenge of the fast pitch. I think it's going to bring the best out of our athletes that we do have. We're fortunate that we've got a lot of young, talented girl athletes who've played the game.
Some of these athletes see the move from slow to fast pitch as a step in the right direction for the future. Senior catcher Tiffany Baker is hoping her game will earn her a college scholarship.
Fast pitch is a much more exciting game. You can get scholarships in colleges all over, and it's going to be in the Olympics in '96. It's a really growing sport, and it's going to be very interesting to see it this year.
That's our softball preview for this week. Best of luck to the Raiders.
Hi, this is Bob Giles, the sports editor of the Cobb Extra. I'm here today with Chief Sequoia. We're at the Buffalo's Cafe in Woodstock in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center on Highway 92. We're going to take a look at a couple of the subregions in Cobb County this year, 5 Quad A South, 6 Quad A, Subregion A. Over at Campbell, Coach Alan Nicely's first team last year went 1-9. Everybody thought they'd be better. I think they will be better this year. I see the Spartans improving, perhaps breaking even, going 5-5. Osborne made the playoffs last year for the first time in school history. Coach Brian Powell's Cardinals have a lot of those same players back. They should again do well. I see them again contending and going 7-3. Over at Pebblebrook, Coach Chuck Steins and his staff do a great job with small numbers. They're going to have to do it again this year. Got a lot of good players, but they play both ways. I see the Falcons improving a little bit from 5-5 last year if they can stay healthy, and going 6-4 this year. South Cobb has got to get better because it couldn't get too much worse than it did at times last year. But Coach Billy Peake's team should be a little bit better. They've got to play better defense if they're going to improve on their 2-8 record. I think they will. I see them going 4-6. Over in 6 Quad A, You've got Lassiter, which also went 4-6 last year. I see the Trojans of Coach Jim Cagle doing a little bit better. They've got a lot of those players back, including quarterback Carlos Williams. I see the Trojans improving, going 5-5. Marietta should be a typical Marietta team. Good team speed, and they've got one of the top players in the county in sophomore Travis Zachary, a free safety who will play some tailback. Coach Dexter Wood's team was 7-3 last year. I see them matching that record this year. Over at Sprayberry, Coach Ronnie White and his team is excited because they think that they're going to bounce back from back-to-back 2-8 seasons, and I think they will too. I see them improving to, say, 4-6 because they've got one of the top running backs in the county, Marlon Bird, and a number of good offensive players back. Well, in the Georgia Dome on Saturday night, August 27th, McEachern will take on always strong Warner Robins of Middle Georgia. McEachern's played well in his past 2 Dome games. I see the Indians again playing well and pulling out a 21-17 victory. Well, that's it for this week. Next week, we'll be picking the regular season games for the first time and giving away free T-shirts and prizes here at Buffalo's. Well, this is Bob Giles, sports editor of the Cobb Extra for Chief Sequoia. Have a good week.
Thank you, Bob. Coming up next on Cobb Prep Rally, for this week's Minute Mike, it's Rob Tate from Osborne High School. Rob convinces us about the difficulty of owning birds. And see if you can guess the name of our mystery trivia guest. Stay tuned.
Are you ready for change? Presenting Hair Pizzazz of Marietta and Essentials by Matrix, the winning formula for hair and body care. The ultimate tools for your new look can be found at great salons like Hair Pizzazz. Ask a stylist for a complete Matrix makeover from your head to your toes. And you won't believe our new VibraSound experience, perfect for stress reduction. Hair Pizzazz is the salon of choice for all ages, and we'll put some pizzazz into our younger clientele. So start with Hair Pizzazz and finish with products from Matrix Essentials, Johnson Ferry Road in East Cobb.
All champions have to dress the part, and Pro Sports has got you covered from head to toe with T-shirts, hats, lightweight jackets, and leather jackets. The only place big enough to get every Cobb school under one roof is Pro Sports, with 2 locations, including Shackelford and East Cobb.
This city has some of the finest restaurants in the world. Of course, it has some of the funnest restaurants in the world, too. Buffalo's Cafe. Nothing fancy, just good food and a darn good time.
Community pride comes in many forms. You can see it in your children. You can feel it on Friday nights in front of your friends and neighbors. Or you can show it in ways that aren't so plain to see. Showing pride in your community is something you want to do, but never something you have to do. At Cobb American Bank, we feel that pride. We think it means supporting our local residents and schools. After all, if you're investing in us, then we need to invest in you. Keep your money in a bank that shares your pride in East Cobb. Cobb American Bank, member FDIC. Get ready for the Cobb Prep Rally $1,000 college scholarship presented by your friends at Cobb American Bank and Edward Johns Jewelers. It's coming in November. Watch for more details.
Well, thanks for staying with us. Right now, we're going to take 60 seconds to bring you the Minute Mike. And this week's special guest is Osborne High School wide receiver Rob Tate. And Rob explains to us that even though he's a Cardinal himself, he does not recommend owning birds.
I had some birds, but one of them died and the other one got out of his cage and left. So.
You going to get another bird?
No, they keep you up all the time at night, and you have to put them in the bathroom and just close the door on them, so I don't want to mess with birds again.
Where are we going?
To the front of the gym. To the famous Osborne gym. This the equipment room. Some dressy clothes, like a suit and anything. That's not me. I don't like the formal type of clothes. So, that's not my style. I don't know how to rap. I try to, but I don't know how. So, I don't want to do that. Embarrass myself. Get over!
Can you be a rap for?
That's about it.
Well, Rob Tate had no problem going on camera with us, but this next guest was a little reluctant to show himself. In fact, you're going to have to guess who he is. Call in if you know who this mystery guest could be.
Hi there, I'm the mystery trivia guest for the week. You can see me pacing the sidelines during the Wheeler High School football games. I've been coaching here for 10 years. When I'm not on the football field, you can find me pitching a tent and camping, going trout fishing, or hunting birds, maybe the almighty turkey in the mountains. If you can guess who I am, pick up the phone and call in to win your prize.
The Wednesday night trivia question is brought to you by Hair Pizzazz in Marietta. The fifth caller through with the correct answer wins a free appointment. Call now.
Good luck at guessing our trivia question. There's more to come on Cobb Prep Rally. We preview more teams in Region 6A and find out which Olympic medalist showed up at Marietta High School football practice. Straight ahead.
So how long have you been working here?
About 3 weeks now.
You do nice work.
Thank you. So do you.
It's not easy, you know.
I know.
Everything here has to be so perfect.
Keep up the good work.
At Papa John's,
Thank you.
our mission is to deliver the perfect pizza.
Just how spicy are the extra hot wings at Buffalo's Cafe? Buffalo's Cafe. Nothing fancy, just good food and a darn good time.
If football is king in Cobb County, then welcome to the Pigskin Palace. Pro Sports is loaded with helmets, pads, and gear for little leaguers and the varsity. 21 years of fitting experience can't be wrong. So go with the pros. Pro Sports with 2 locations, including Powder Springs Road in West Cobb.
If you want to get rid of the bugs cuddled up in your rug, call Ridco Pest Control. Call Ridco Pest Control.
Meet your Ridco Pest Management Specialists. Precision placement of material into cracks and crevices out of the way of children and pets. Prescribed service treatments to meet your specific needs. Ridco, protecting you and your environment. That's Ridco. R-I-D-C-O.
And welcome back to the final segment of our show. We're going to give you a preview of Region 6A, and we're going to begin at Marietta, where we just happened to run into an 8-time Olympic gold medalist.
Marietta Blue Devils are ready to take on their Region 6A rivals. They kick off the 1994 season on September 2nd against Pope. The Blue Devils have been busy in the offseason. The team is young but fast. Look for senior offensive center Jeremy Schmidt to make an impact as he snaps to starting sophomore quarterback LeBron Mitchell. He is anxious and confident about his last season at Marietta.
I don't really care what they know. It's just they better be ready because we're going to be coming at them this year.
The defense has been drilled on the basics, and starting cornerback Philip Blackshear has the big goal in his sights.
Winning the state championship. We're dedicated, determined, and dependable.
The Blue Devils have an avid fan, one any Olympic enthusiast is familiar with. Gold medalist Antonio McKay has a special relationship with Dexter Wood and the team. He supports the Blue Devil program. Antonio was out at practice last week and leaves us with his prediction for the 1994 season.
I think they have a good season. They need to get out to a good start. Young quarterback, young backfield, but youth, it doesn't really matter when you have a lot of speed.
If Antonio McKay could see the Sprayberry Yellow Jackets, he would probably give a lofty prediction for Coach Ronnie White and the team. This is Ronnie White's first year as head coach after being promoted from offensive coordinator. Under Coach White, the Jackets hope to even out their record. They've gone 2-8 for the last 2 years, but Coach White warns that those numbers don't tell the whole story.
I can't think of many people in the last 2 or even 3 years that played Sprayberry and wanted to line up and play him again. We've really only gotten physically beaten in a couple of games, and the other games it was a pretty good battle. We just happened not to win.
Coach White welcomes back the leading rusher in the county, Marlon Bird. Another Jacket with a big sting is offensive tackle Gerald Bennett.
I think we're really going to be a good team. We've got quite a few college prospects, and I really do think we're going to have to fill a few holes, but we should be able to bring Sprayberry back to the playoffs.
The Jackets have a young team, but plenty of experience. Coach White's inaugural game is September 2nd against North Cobb.
To the north at Lassiter High School, several injured players watch their teammates practice. The injury bug has bitten about a dozen Trojans. No problem, most of the bumps and bruises are temporary, and the Trojans are ready to take on the Wheeler Wildcats. The Trojans had a 4-6 record last year. They changed philosophies toward the end of the season and won 3 out of their last 5 games. Coach Jim Cagle was very pleased with that momentum, and he has several key starters returning. On offense, don't get in the way of tight ends Ross Brannon and Mike Gogolin. QB Carlos Williams has his passing arm warmed up. On defense, it always helps to have one of the leading tacklers in the county, Patrick Winchester. Linebackers Matt Brigham and David Wendt also returned to Lassiter. The Trojans season opener is against Pope High School, September 2nd.
All right, that was your look at Region 6A, and now joining me is John Allison, the coach of North Cobb High School. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Yes.
Let me start off. Last year, you made it to the first round of the playoffs. What are you going to do this year to try to better what you can do at the end of the season?
Well, it's going to be tougher this year. Last year, everybody had real young ball clubs. We had an inexperienced team, but many of them were seniors, so we've only got 4 returning on offense and 5 on defense, so we've got a lot of new people in there, so it's going to be tougher for us to repeat our playoff bid that we had last year because other teams are going to have more experience, but we feel good about the people replacing them.
Well, your first game you have this year is against Sprayberry, and they have a new coach in Ronnie White. Now, what can you do to prepare for that game when it's going to be something totally different for you with a new coach there?
Well, one good thing is Ronnie was there last year, and 2 years ago Ronnie handled the defense, and last year he handled the offense. So we have an idea with the people they have returning what they might be running. So the first game's always exciting because you don't know what they're going to run. You have to prepare for a lot of different things, and they don't know what you're going to run, so they have to too. But they have a lot of people returning. The leading rusher in the county last year is returning, so it's going to be a real challenge for our defense. And they've got most of their defensive people returning, a lot more than we do. So it's going to be a challenge for our offense. And with a new coach, there's always that new enthusiasm. So we know we're going to have to be prepared to play them.
Tell me about some of your key defensive players that are really going to step up and be the role models of the team.
Well, we have a couple in the secondary that are coming back, Bart Davis and Tim Houston in the secondary, and that helps when you have secondary people coming back. And we have a couple of defensive linemen, Louis Garcia and Robert Grimes, returning as down linemen. So we feel good about having some people in different positions, and then the people filling in, we have a lot of confidence in them. So we just hope the defense, and we think our goal is to get better every game. So we want to start off as good as we can and try to get better every game and get those kids playing experience. We know they'll get better.
On the other side of the ball, on the offense, you've got a couple of great players. You've got Don Munden,
yes,
and then you also have the second leading receiver from last season in Grant Cockrell.
Yes.
And could you tell me a little bit about them?
Well, Grant was a sophomore last year and was just fortunate enough to catch a lot of passes. And this year we're smart enough to know that people are going to be doing what they can do to stop him, so we have to throw to other people. It wasn't like we tried to throw it to him. It's something our quarterbacks just get a pre-snap read and try to see who's open, and he just had a position that is open more often than anybody. But people are going to take that away from us this year, so we got other people, but we're glad to have Grant back. He's a great possession receiver. Don stepped in last year at the end of the season and ran the ball after Jamal Bird, second leading rusher in the county last year, got hurt in the last regular season game, and he's just going to be a junior, and he's a real strong boy and got good speed, so we look forward to him just taking up the slack where Jamal ended last year.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for joining us, and good luck on your season.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's Cobb Prep Rally. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to tune in next week, same time and same channel. But before we go, we stopped at McEachern High School this week and talked to some of the students about this Saturday's game against Warner Robins in the Dome. And as you can guess, their predictions weren't very surprising. We'll see you next week.
And I think definitely McEachern will win. There's no other choice about it. McEachern, definitely.
All right, what about your football team?
They're the best too. Got a good heart and a spirit that will outdo any other school, most definitely.
Plus they got us cheerleading, so how can they lose?
Yeah. McEachern!